Right, just leaving work now. About a boat. Just got a call saying my boat's ready after a few months, so pretty excited to see how it is. And yeah, still got a lot of work to do, but got Christmas holidays to do it. So hopping in the big rig. Got to drive up to Redcliffe to see Mitch, and hopefully she's yeah, perfect, which it will be. But yeah, I'm checking soon. Gonna be completely honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I actually got butterflies. It's been a big, I think 2 years I've had the boat for, and it's been with Mitch at Moreton Bay Marine Services for 6 months. He fitted me in after cancellation, and yeah, the day finally come. It's his last working day, my last working day, so hopefully get there before the boys finish up for the day and thank them all. But pretty excited, nervous but excited as. So yeah, in about an hour's time I'll be towing her home after a massive long time coming. My dream boat is finally built. Everything I've ever wanted. So still a lot of work I've got to do personally, but yeah, she'll be home at least. Check in soon. Woo! Alright, so here's a couple photos of the boat originally, how it was when I got it, with the cabin on. Here's a couple with cabin off, when I started to do the work myself. Whew. Just hooked her up. She's all done. The legend himself. From the old half top to this. She's definitely come a long way. I probably shouldn't hop in the boots, but bait board, console, and deck. The man. Alrighty. You might ask what my dream boat is. That's her right there. Now, this is her. Originally it was a half cab. They started off an inboard. I've had it for 2 years now, and finally decided to make it what I've always wanted. So she's a very deep V in it. As you can see, the flare in it's pretty out of control. So everything's been replaced. So anything original is the hull and just a little bit of bow here. So I installed the Minn Kota bracket. You can gain access underneath for the bolts. I've also originally had an aluminium pod, so we've replaced that with a swim platform and a fiberglass pod. Now it is built, because I haven't decided what outboard I'm going to put on it yet, but it is built to handle 300. Now with the pod overall length, it is 6.4 meters, so it's pretty much 21 foot from the back of the pod to the bow. Now inside has, so you need 2 hatch covers on that one and that one, which are ordered. We have a live well in the middle, which a hatch will go up the top. So it's a pretty big live well. The overflows are going to get drilled out the back there, so then when it's full, it's just going to overflow onto the swim platform. Now the console is I think we're allowed 1500 from the bait tank to the console, which allows it. I think we allowed 500 from the console to the seat, and I think that allows about 700 to walk past the bait tank and the seat. Now we have 90mm PVC for 245s that runs down to the back storage area. So the one's going to be for batteries, and one will be for trim tabs, power steering, etc. So there's both 90mm on both sides. Now they only installed the hooks on Thursday, so they're put in there for a landing net. I got a big landing net. One of the things was I haven't really been on a boat where there's been a spot for a landing net. They normally live in a rod holder or on the floor, and I didn't want that. I want everything to have a place. So we've got two there, two on the other side, which also allows it to have 8-foot rods, and they can also fit gaffs in. So probably have gaffs, net, and worst case rods. Now the gunnels are pretty wide. I did them wide because you can stand up on top of them, so they're still wide enough to walk on, and also quality rod holders. I can pretty much get some good big rod holders, and it's just good sitting area. Like you can sit on it comfortable rather than just a small gunnel. So that's pretty much the back of the boat. Now the front of the boat, this is where the magic happens. She's pretty big deck, that's for sure. One of my biggest things was I wanted it big enough to fit 2 swags lengthwise, so when we're out at the reef we can put the swags in and lay them flat on the front deck. So the deck itself, I think it measured to be 2450 from the console to the bow, and there's three compartments. This one here is fairly big storage. It might not look big on the video, but that there is fairly big. To compare it to my foot, it's up to my knee and goes all the way back. And another thing was a big requirement was the channels. I wanted all the hatches to be completely dry as much as possible, so when we're deck washing, so we get blood on the deck, we can deck wash it down, and if we are staying overnight, nothing will get wet. None of our clothes, food will get wet if we do deck wash. Now this second one here, is another massive storage compartment. It is huge. To compare it to my feet, you could nearly sleep in here overnight. Now this compartment here gains access to the front of the fuel tanks. The fuel tank runs basically from the edge of that composite panel, thermalite. It's basically from here all the way down to there. Now it is 3 meters the tank is. It's going to have to go into 2 tanks because I wanted them to be removable. So they're going to be two 1500 tanks, which should allow me to have about 380 litres, which is enough. I wanted definitely more than 300, so 380 is just perfect for me. Now the third compartment is one of my favourites. It is a fully insulated esky. One of the things was I wanted to have the deck. I wanted to have a spot for everything I wanted. So normally on the center console you'd have an esky below the seat, but you got nowhere for fish. So that was a big requirement. Now from memory, I think it's 450 across, 500 up, and 1200 long. And it's insulated with 75mm insulation panel. And the bung for it to drain goes out through the side of the hull. That was another thing I also wanted. So I'll put a bung in that. So when we do drain all the blood, or say there's blood or fish, just offal, it will not go through the hull. So your hull will be always sort of clean from the esky, which is one big thing I wanted. So that leaves one more compartment. Now this one is another big thing I wanted, and it is a rod locker. Now it can fit over 8-foot rods in it. It is pretty big. It's all supported. I don't know if you can tell really how big it is in the photo and the video, but like it's pretty big, and it's like, I think the top's like 450, 500 wide in the front. So if you're not putting rods in here, you can put like 3-4 swags. So that was another thing I wanted, was somewhere to put swags, because you go out camping for the weekend, fishing the reef, you got all the storage, but where do you put swags? So the rod locker, say you got 4 or 5 popping rods, put them on the rod holders during the day, swags going in here at night. You can even put the rod holders in here, the rods in here, and put your swags out, or vice versa. So that leaves the seat. Now the seat will have an esky underneath it, and that will just be for like your day sort of drinks, beers, food, yeah, basically just your essentials for the day. So this is, you could even sleep in there if you really wanted to. If it was raining or anything, you could literally lay in there and get out of the weather. So that's the seat. So the seat will go here. I'll probably end up putting a foot lean on it, so when you're driving you can have something to rest up on. And also the seat will be a flip back. So say I can drive, I can stand here and someone can fight a fish facing the back and still be comfortable. So basically this is her. It's pretty special. In person it's pretty incredible what it is. Only thing left I have to do is to paint it on the outside and underneath, and basically decide what outboard I'm going to put on her, what electronics I'm going to run, what brand seat, rod holders, just all the fun stuff really. And basically plan is to have it running in about 6 months. So it's been a bit of a build from what it was. It's been, yeah, a couple of years in the making, but it's basically pretty awesome because I can fish offshore. I allowed the height at the back. I've allowed it still high enough. I can still rod in the gimbal, fight fish from the back, still good height, above my knee, below the waist, and still have the capability to go popping and stick baiting. And there's still enough room. That's up to here. Still enough room to fight fish. It is something pretty special. In person, it's out of control. The work that Mitch has done and the boys at Moreton Bay Marine Service is pretty sensational. Considering it was basically just a hull. They've done everything. New transom, new stringers, everything you see they've done. So it's basically a complete rebuild. So basically it's a brand new boat now. It's pretty special. They should have a few speakers in them by completion. Rod holder here, a few rod holders, probably put 6 rod holders along the back. And yeah, it's basically her. It's pretty sensational. It's basically everything I needed. Basically everything I needed and wanted in an offshore boat. The reason I didn't buy one was because everything that's out there on the market is basically not what I sort of want and how I fish. I want to be able to go stick bait, so the big casting deck. I want to be able to go pop. I want to be able to go jigging. I want to be able to go trolling. So that's why it's built how it is, and that's why I've spent the money doing it how I want to do it. Because I don't know how many hulls out there are built like this. Like the flare on that is out of control. Like, it's pretty, look at that. You can surf it nearly. So yeah, it's just, how many boats out there has got flare like that? Full scribe nearly, not many. So this is basically her. So the overflow from the esky, that's like 80 mil of solid glass and insulation panel. So that'll just have a nice chrome dome facing back, so no water can come in, and they'll have a bung on the inside, so it'll be watertight. What else is there? Now there is enough room here for trim tabs, enough height. That's why I didn't go full pod. I went the swim platform, just in case it does need trim tabs, but I highly doubt it. So the only thing left to do is spend my Christmas holidays. I got to flip it somehow. I've cleaned out the shed over here, so hopefully I can get it in there, flip it, and paint the outside, sand it all back, underneath it, sand it all and paint it. So I'm going to be pretty busy, but hopefully to have it painted in 2 weeks, because I won't have much time next year to fully paint it. But that's pretty much my dream boat, part 1 anyway. Next video will probably be painting it, flipping it, sanding it. I might do a little bit of video on what I'm going to do to it and go from there. So leave your comments on what you think, and what your thoughts on it and anything that I've missed, but I doubt you'll find anything I missed on it, because a lot of thought has gone into every little bit. So, cheers for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's going to be a lot more videos, especially when this is up and running. It's going to be pretty out of control. A lot of reef trips and just getting offshore, doing what I love, because this thing is not going to go offshore too much longer. So I'll probably paint this at the same time actually, but the video's not on this. But the aim is to not take this offshore anymore and just take her offshore. That's the plan. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I have trying to build it, to be honest. Well, I didn't build it, Mitch from Moreton Bay Marine did, but a lot of thought went into it from my perspective on what I wanted as a boat. And he has done a lot of ideas where he goes, you shouldn't do this because of this reason. You shouldn't do this because of this, and I reckon you should do this because of that. And yeah, his work is just, I can't thank him enough for some of those ideas. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe, leave a comment on what you think of her, and I'll see you with part 2 of it. Cheers. You would not believe what we had to do to get it in there. We had to take that off and slide the whole boat a metre forward to get it in. And it's only just in by like 20 mil there. And like 20 mil there. So the plan is to get a trolley jack on this end tomorrow, drag that out, then set it up lengthways in here and make a gantrel or whatever you call them and flip it and paint it in there. That's the plan. What do you reckon? Oslo, what do you reckon? No? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, so that's us.